This is Mac OS Ken.
Making supply and gauging demand, a union vote gets withdrawn, and Apple has to face Cydia in court. It is Tuesday, the 31st of May, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. Learn more and check your rate at upstart.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Trade Coffee. I take my coffee seriously. I think you know that by now. And yet a lot of times my standards are dulled. If I'm out and order coffee, the best I really hope for is inoffensive. Since taking delivery from Trade, I don't want to go out for coffee anymore. They ask you questions around your coffee habits, then they start sending you coffee from roasters around the country. Small businesses that are able to grow because of the coffee that Trade is sending you. I've gotten 5 roasts through Trade now, and each has been a delight. That's how it's been for me, but they want to make sure it's just as good for you. If you're not completely satisfied with your first bag, Trade will put you together with one of their coffee experts to find the bag that is right for you at no additional cost. Try that at your local coffee shop. Right now, Trade is offering new subscribers a total of $30 off your first order, plus free shipping, when you go to drinktrade.com/macOSKen. That's more than 40 cups of coffee for free. Get started by taking their quiz at drinktrade.com/macOSKen and let Trade find you a coffee you'll love. That's drinktrade.com/macOSKen for $30 off. And don't forget about Father's Day coming up. A Trade subscription is the perfect gift for the coffee lovers in your life. Get started today at drinktrade.com/macOSKen. After a day of fun and various realities, let us go back to the production line. Barron's ran a piece to end the week last week that had JPMorgan indicating that iPhone 14 production could be worse than feared. According to the piece, analysts led by William Yang said they have a more conservative view on build estimates than what the supply chain expects. Theirs is not the only conservative view, though. Last week, Bloomberg ran a piece calling for iPhone 14 production to be even with production of iPhone 13. Still, JPMorgan says that there will be fewer iPhone 14s than there were iPhone 13s. That is reflective of smartphone demand weakness and cost pressures, according to the report. Okay, is it that? Or is it continued trouble in the supply chain? That demand would be down in tough economic times does seem sensible, but JPMorgan also says China's manufacturing problems in the wake of strict lockdowns to prevent the spread of COVID-19 may hit output of Apple's next iPhone worse than the industry expects. So which is it? One wonders whether both would be kind of a good thing. If demand is down but Apple is still unable to keep up with demand, that looks pretty good from the outside. You know, as long as revenue stays gold. Questions around the health of iPhone orders and manufacturing will likely go on and on and on until things are decidedly and obviously better. Late last week, TF International analyst Ming-Chi Kuo hinted at trouble for the Jesus phone, saying on Twitter that Apple has not changed its shipping plans, but adding that iPhone 14's challenges will come from the demand side instead of the supply side. The assumption is that that is a sign of the times, not a sign of disinterest in iPhone. See also Samsung. Over the weekend, TechCrunch ran a report saying that the Korean electronics giant has reportedly cut smartphone production by 30 million units. According to the piece, it is a perfect storm of industry and global factors that have gotten us to this place. It's not panic time for large manufacturers. They'll almost certainly come out of the dip unscathed, but there are broader questions that remain about the industry going forward. Biggest of all is whether it is a lull following a decade of explosive smartphone sales, or whether not even the arrival of new technologies like foldable screens will kickstart a return to the mobile golden age. This sounds like a job for a whole new product category. Also, I really like that whole perfect storm idea. Economic uncertainty is far from the only issue kinking the supply chain. Business Insider ran a piece to end the week last week saying that Quanta workers have had another run-in with authorities over working conditions, namely being stuck there since the start of April. Quanta, which makes MacBooks for Apple and other computers for other companies, has been able to keep running through various COVID-related lockdowns by employing a closed-loop system. Basically, workers can go to their dorms, or to work, or to their dorms, or to work. Yeah, that's about it. And that seems to be taking a toll. Earlier this month, we heard of a riot at a Quanta facility in Shanghai after workers weren't allowed to return to their dorms. Now, Business Insider cites reports from regional media saying a dispute over their captivity and pay prompted a large group of Quanta workers to storm a dormitory housing the company's Taiwanese managers, resulting in a lengthy standoff. Decidedly little else around this story, unfortunately. Though the Business Insider piece was only posted on Friday, the 27th of May, the incident was said to have happened over the weekend of Saturday, the 21st. Neither Apple nor Quanta offered comment for the Business Insider report. Boy, that's pretty gloom and doom for the week's second Monday, huh? How about a bright spot? Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives took to Twitter on the week's first Monday to post of a supply chain upswing. In the first of a couple of tweets, Ives said, over the last week, including this weekend, we are seeing from our checks a clear improvement in the supply chain in Asia for names like Apple and other chip players, which is a much-needed positive headed into the second half of 2022. He went on to say in the second post, while spots around zero COVID are popping up in China, we are seeing a strong production trajectory headed into June for stalwart names such as Apple, good for iPhone 14 ramp, and Tesla, which are key barometers for the overall market in this painful, hot-button supply chain issue. Ives has a buy rating on Apple shares. TipRanks puts his price target on the shares at $200. More news in a moment, but first a word from Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. Saying goodbye to high-interest credit card debt is one of the first steps toward financial independence. But high interest makes it hard to make that goodbye official. That is where Upstart comes in. Personal loans powered by Upstart can help you pay down high-interest debt with simple and easy-to-understand payment terms. And it all happens online. You can check your rate in minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000 without impacting your credit score. And they look at more than just your credit score, factoring in income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find you a smarter rate for your loan. Join the 1.8 million people Upstart has helped on the way to financial freedom. Don't wait and check your rate today at upstart.com/macOSKen. UPSTART, that's upstart.com/macOSKen to check your rate today. Don't forget to use my URL to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/macOSKen. It looks like Apple Retail will not be facing its first union vote this week. Plans had been for Atlanta's Apple Cumberland Mall to be the first Apple location to vote on whether to form a union. That was supposed to run this Thursday, the 2nd of June, through Saturday, the 4th. Now a piece from CNBC says the union trying to organize the retail workers withdrew its request for an election. According to the report, the union, Communications Workers of America, or CWA, alleged in a statement that Apple has violated labor laws and made a fair election impossible. In addition, CWA said that there were rising numbers of COVID cases at the store, which could affect the vote due to workers' health concerns. In a statement, CWA said, an overwhelming majority of workers at the Cumberland Mall store announced that they were forming a union in April and requested recognition from the company. Since then, Apple has conducted a systemic, sophisticated campaign to intimidate them and interfere with their right to form a union, behavior that violates U.S. law, the principles of Apple's Credo and Vendor Code of Conduct, and international human rights standards. While Apple has not formally come out against union moves, it pretty much has. Reports have had the Cupertino company hiring an anti-union law firm and raising alleged concerns around unionization at start-of-shift meetings. A lot of those concerns were reiterated last week in a video message to employees from Apple Senior VP of Retail and People, Deirdre O'Brien. Not that it's all been negative. Toward the end of the week last week, Apple let workers know that they were getting raises by as soon as July. The Wall Street Journal reported that starting pay for hourly workers in the U.S. will rise to $22 an hour or higher based on the market, a 45% increase from 2018. Starting salaries in the U.S. are also expected to increase. That's happening about 3 months earlier than usual, according to last week's report. While organizers in the Atlanta store are not happy with how events have gone over the last few weeks, they do think the pay increases are tied to the movement that they started. CNBC had organizers saying, thanks to what we started here in Atlanta, Apple will be giving all employees in all stores an unplanned raise. This is because of us. Cydia has a date in court against Apple. A piece from Engadget says the first name in app stores for jailbroken phones can proceed with its antitrust case against the Cupertino company. The report says Cydia sued Apple at the end of 2020. The argument was that Apple had an illegal monopoly over iOS app distribution. Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers of Epic v. Apple fame dismissed that complaint, saying that the suit fell outside the statute of limitations. But Cydia could amend the complaint, which it did. In its latest complaint, says the Engadget piece, Cydia argues that iOS updates Apple released between 2018 and 2021 constituted overt acts that harmed distributors like itself. That is a claim Judge Gonzalez-Rogers found credible enough to explore. The organization is looking for damages. It also hopes to force Apple to open iOS to third-party payments and app distributors, according to the report. And finally today, if you don't know who BTS is, you got a new radio show to fill you in. The Mac Observer says the K-pop power group has a limited series on Apple Music One as part of a lead-up to the group's next album. Dubbed BTS Radio Past and Present, the piece says the show debuted on Saturday, the 28th of May. They're not trying to build a habit with this one so much as whip up a frenzy. All 3 episodes have already aired, staggered Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday for some reason. Listeners can catch the 3rd one today at 2 p.m. Pacific and again at 10 p.m. Pacific on Apple Music One. Episodes should be available on demand soon after their broadcast days are done. The BTS album Proof will hit weekend after next. It'll land on Apple Music and, one assumes, other streaming services on Friday, the 10th of June. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Trade Coffee. Get $30 off your first order plus free shipping at drinktrade.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Upstart, fair and fast personal loans. Learn more and check your rate at upstart.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.